Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Your way of tapping into the Force from a galaxy far, far away. Hello there.
Hello, what have we here? Here's where the fun begins.
Count me in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. And this week we are concluding our coverage of Skeleton Crew. It came to a close, and we hate to see it go, but man, what a way to leave. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you, and we've got ourselves a couple of goodies on our hands. These were solid. These were solid. How'd you feel about episodes 7 and 8?
Yeah, the ending definitely. I don't want to say saved the show because I was never in a distraught or like it needed to be saved.
Yeah.
But I think the episode 7, even though it was good, it was kind of just I don't know. It had a strange feeling to it. It just didn't feel quite like the others, or just it. I don't know. I remember just feeling annoyed for whatever reason, and I don't know. It was just like the first time in the show that I was like, it didn't quite. I wasn't fully there for the week, but no, I think the finale was kind of like, I feel like if I were to watch the show just in one run now, or like watch these
I
two
think
back
it would
to
hit.
back, yeah,
I think it would hit. Yeah, and that's the thing is that after episode 7, we're going to be in so much trouble, as it is titled, which is great. Directed by Lee Isaac Chung too, who just did Twisters. He did Minari. He's done an episode or two of The Mandalorian. Bro's been around. And I will say it was a gorgeous episode 7. But I do think that there's a give and take with this one, where I think it gave our actors a chance to really perform for the first time. I think like Jude Law specifically really gets to do stuff in episode 7, which is nice. It looks really good, which is nice. I do think it kind of defines everything that I've been kind of like not negative about for the show, but annoyed by a little bit. And I've been looking for the word, and I think I found it. Abrupt. Everything is so abrupt. Everything just happens. It's like, whoa, okay, here we are. Yep, now we're there. It feels like everything moved so fast through the show. And, you know, for a show that moves this fast, maybe it would be better to blitz it. You know, it would only take like 3.5 hours, maybe, to watch all of this show.
Yeah.
It probably would play better that way.
Why does it just feel like a movie? I don't, it just like this would be quite the movie, or just a better, longer series.
Either way,
yeah. But
we found a format on Disney Plus where we find stories at the length they pretty much explicitly aren't at their best, which is funny. And don't get me wrong, like the ending, I mean, dude, they nailed the finale. The finale was so exceedingly good that it made me question. It made me go, hold the phone. Have I been underselling this? You know, I was like, have I not been appreciating this on the level I should? And then I was like, no. Wait a second. The finale was just that good that it stands that much more obviously above the others to me. To the point where I'm like, oh, no. In fact, the finale might actually explicitly make the rest of the show look worse, which I know is not a good way to look at it, and I don't truly look at it that way, because it was a great finale to what was a very, very fun season of television. So I don't want to be a negative Nancy by any stretch of the imagination, but I had a great time, man. I had a great time with this show, and the conclusion really, really sealed the deal. What a fun ride.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know when I made the thought, or like when I wanted the sky or the barrier to be dropped, and then everyone look up in the sky and look.
Yeah, it was early.
Oh my god! Yeah, I was like that. Whenever that dawned on me, I'm like, I just kind of need this to happen in the show. And whenever it was happening, I was just so happy. I was just like, oh my god! And like and I don't know. I think they edited like just all the swiping of it like going down. It was, and then just everyone
good.
looking up, and I wish it was maybe more focused on the reaction of the people a little bit more. But we still got, I don't know, they still got that. You know, everyone was definitely in awe and stuff. But I don't know, that was awesome. I was hoping to see. I guess we got the transmission of her. What's the owl? Her name. Let's see.
Kim.
I'm blank. Yeah, Kim the owl. I guess we got the hologram of her. But I don't know. I was wondering if it was gonna get something more involved at the end, and we were gonna see some battalion. I don't know, some leader of who was leading the fight. You know, coming in or so. I don't know. I thought we were gonna get someone else, but I don't know. That's fine. I think it's fine with everything. Like there's nothing. There's no, I don't know. I don't need a cameo, or I don't need another connection to something else for it to be good. But
no, I'm with you, and that's the thing is that naturally, whenever they're like, you're 2 clicks away, I'll send you, I'll send you the New Republic, and they're the best at pirate busting. You know, like we've seen a lot of, Carson Teva pops up all the time, and Gareth Aurelios we've seen is in the same squadron and stuff, and so I was getting there. I was like, oh, maybe we're gonna see somebody, and you're like you said, it wasn't like, oh, I gotta see somebody here or else this is fucking awful. No, but not by any stretch. In fact, it makes it more singular that it's not. It makes it stand out in a positive way, that it didn't feel the need to, I don't want to say debase itself, but that is kind of what I feel like some shows have been guilty of.
Yeah,
I think, and I think it makes a real point of emphasis for a children's show about who the good guys are. We don't need an actual hero, like a guy or a person everybody knows who's like, holy shit, you're them. No, it's just the New Republic. It's just the X-Wings, and the X-Wings are the real good guys. And I think it's a fun sentiment. I think there's a chance that Wim could have been disillusioned by Jod pretty massively with the whole, you're no Jedi, you lied and all that good stuff. There's a chance he could have been disillusioned by the idea of, one hero. So like the idea that all these people, like regular people, show up with their ships and fight the pirates and stuff. I think that's a good thing.
Jod, like it was kind of like at the beginning of the show, before the show even came out, we are like, okay, well, Jod's story is pretty obvious. He's going to be the pirate, rough around the edges kind of a little bit, and the kids are going to soften him up, and he's going to have a redemption arc. And I don't know, it felt just kind of like, yep, but we'd all accepted that, like, this is what we will see from Jod. And then it's like, actually, no, the dude's just a little, he's got a little bit of evil in him, but not quite, not still fully there, which I think
he's
is
just a bad guy. He's just a bad guy. He's not evil, like
that's true.
When it comes to, he doesn't have, I mean, there's something to be said for what his plan was and how that is in and of itself a pretty dark fucking plan, but it's not like he planned on genociding the planet. In fact, he tried to do everything he could to avoid them being hurt. It was to enslave them, but I guess either way,
everything like it was, he just wanted to be the supervisor and just
I appreciate how nuanced they kind of made him. There's a lot loaded into his final, like the confronting of his past that really recontextualizes, like, yeah, you know what, if I was Jod, I'd probably, it's surprising that not more of them ended up like this. You know what I'm saying? Like Padawan survivors, I mean. Like the fact that, I mean, Kanan almost did, Kanan was going, he obviously fought for a good cause, but there's a lot of stuff in Kanan Jarrus' story that indicates that he was going down the wrong path before he met Hera and before he did all that. Like there's a really good chance that a lot of these kids who, didn't stand a chance in the Imperial, during the Imperial reign, kind of closed themselves off and started looking out for themselves, Yeah,
and I wonder, I mean, if we'll ever get who his master is at all. I feel like they kind of were trying to give hints. It was some female, but and kind of what did he say about her?
she was a rough, like she was worse for wear, like him. And that's what's interesting is that, he says, when I was your age, I was living in a hole, worried about what I was going to eat, like when I was going to eat next. Yeah. And then a Jedi found me. Now, I don't know if that means he survived Order 66 and went into hiding and then a Jedi found him, or if he never got found by the Jedi at all. And then a Jedi found him, and then she was slaughtered by the Empire. Like that's a...
Yeah, because if he was his age before he got found, I feel like they're a little too old for the Jedi, for like a Jedi to take him in, unless it was...
Yeah, exactly. That's why I can't tell if they're alluding to the fact that he'd already escaped and found a place to hide, and that's like why he was starving, why he was, like all that, or if he was just... grew up in poverty, impoverished and all that, and maybe he was on the outer rim or something, like maybe a little bit beyond the Republic's reach. So the Jedi never did find him until they went into hiding and all that stuff. I don't know, and that's what I do appreciate about it too, is that it is still vague enough that you can do kind of anything with that backstory if they want to do something with that backstory, because I think that just those few lines do more than enough to make you go, oh yeah, I'd probably be a little fucked up too, wouldn't I? Yeah. Being a starving kid who finds somebody who's going to take care of them, and then somebody, I think the Empire, it seems to be the Empire, because, he says the Jedi are all dead, and, we get a few mentions of Order 66. I imagine it's during the reign of the Empire that we're talking about here, and, they made him watch them kill her. That's pretty fucked up.
Dang. Yeah, Dr. Phosphorus, I don't know, kind of like in
a little
Creature
bit
Commandos, but yeah, no, this I there was still some, like, it seems that they left some things up in the air, and I don't know if that is just on purpose to give more mystery to the story, or if that is their way of kind of, they want to continue this story, because like, I mean, it could just be in novels, and they, it doesn't have to be on screen or anything like that to continue, but like, I feel like this is like a perfect, like for Wim and all the kids to realize, like, oh, you don't have to be a Jedi to be a hero, and like to have their own fight, and like this is like they can never go back to like their normal life, or I feel like At Adden is going to be changed forever too. Like no way it's just all going back to normal.
Well,
and,
it's going to get enveloped into the New Republic. They'll probably go restore all the old jewels of the Old Republic and all that stuff. So like, because they have the Supervisor's Tower, they'll have the access to the other locations and all that good stuff. So, like, at Atten and all the jewels of the Old Republic are going to be in a, hopefully a new situation. There's a decent chance that the Old Republic or the New Republic finds that all of a sudden they have mints, all of a sudden they have places where they can make their credits, and there's a decent chance that is the case. And, what's crazy is, more than The Mandalorian, not more than The Mandalorian, but there are some aspects of The Mandalorian where I feel like we were building and building and building towards some pretty obvious stuff with the First Order. I feel like they could really do something with this. Like infiltrating the mints and exporting funds and all that good stuff. I think that I think they could have a good time with that. But I appreciate how they make it pretty, I don't know, obvious to me. Maybe it's just me hoping, but like obvious at the end that Wim's going to end up fighting in the Resistance. I think that's cute. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense for him too. He's going to be a hero and all that good stuff. I loved his dad, like kind of rediscovering his inner child whenever they do the bike jumps. Yeah. And he's like, "Whoa, did you see that?" And Wim's like, yeah, Dad, we got to go. Like, and that's one of my favorite tropes from these like, 80s-esque Amblin adventures where the kids are so used to the adventure that they have to get their parents to lock the fuck in and all that good stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, and the speed bikes or through the woods, just kind of it was nice and reminiscent of that. Just, I don't know, there were a lot of things in here that were very nice. I was expecting, maybe a little attack Rented, or Rented at the end, a reveal, or like the statue. No, I mean, but that's all right. Maybe it was like the statue. I feel like maybe I was taking too much focus on it, but it feels like they did stop and look at it. Like, I don't know, they kind of
no, I mean, when it Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean they did, and it expressly didn't have a head and stuff. I don't know if that was just like a red herring or anything, but
I guess
I also don't know.
Like just to make it seem that it is a person, the supervisor that is just like it never was. I'm assuming there never was a human supervisor ever. Like this, it was always from the
it was
jump
always a
this
droid,
way.
and that's what like Farah wasn't surprised by that. Like they walk in, they see the droid, and Jod's like, "You're ruled by a droid," and she's like, "Yeah, as is dictated in the Great Work." She's like, "Yeah, that's 100%. That's what we do
right.
here."
Okay, okay. I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought I was kind of reading her like she didn't even know like fully 100%, but she would just had to accept it because that's her life, and like she was following the supervisor, and like she couldn't because she was like, "Oh no, he just never gets any, any meeting or I don't know what
yeah, there's a little bit of an ambiguity there, like he doesn't take visitors often and all that good stuff.
I feel like she was like her worldview was kind of being shattered there.
She was coping a little bit, but I don't think she was surprised. She didn't seem surprised that it was a droid whenever just that specific line where she's like, as is stated by the Great Work or whatever.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like maybe. Yeah, that is interesting. That's a really interesting switch up from her. I didn't consider the way she was acting like literally a second before that.
Because I mean, that was kind of her whole thing of like, should I pull the lever or should I not? She's like, we need to keep this. She's like, this is all for our protection. And she was still
the illusion of what she thought was like it was kind of torn asunder there a little bit. Like it wasn't this regal palace. It wasn't this beautiful place. It was this dusty room where. Yep. Some droid, a droid doesn't need all that. The droid doesn't need fineries and everything, like you expect that when you go there, you're gonna, I don't know, you're walking into the Oval Office essentially. It's supposed to be ornate or something, and it's just kind of a droid den.
Yep. Yeah.
But
and the good old
I love Carrie Condon.
I don't know.
She is so good. She did a great job in this episode. Jod killing God was awesome.
Yep, just a good old stab through the eyeball, classic. I feel like, literally whenever he spun the eye around, I was like, the saber's going through that thing. I was like, I was wondering how they were gonna like kill it. But I thought that was gonna be the first thing they would do, and then it wouldn't actually die. The computer would still be alive somewhat, and then they'd have to do something more. But no, it was nice that it was just kind of. I like that it was, I don't know, kind of that simple, and that it wasn't like this, I don't know, a big other thing they had to do, but yeah, just
no, yeah, I did too. I and that's the thing is that what I appreciate is that the show didn't try to go beyond its means. There was a lot it could have tried to do in this finale that would have made it way too busy. There comes a point in the finale whenever KB's trying to fly the ship and Neil is trying to get the turbo laser, and Wim and Fern are down doing their thing, and there comes a point where you're like, oh. The conclusion of the story is them all doing whatever they need to do. They're not all taking this step to get to something else. No, this is the final step. And I don't know when I realized that really. Like they just need to get this done and then they're good. I like that a lot. I thought that was a great device to use. I think that they did a really, really good job. And the finale is like the abruptness, the quickness, we're here, all that. I don't feel that at all in the finale. Like the finale feels exactly like it's supposed to feel, and I think that's it's easily my favorite episode of the show.
Yeah. The contrast between 7 and 8 was kind of crazy because like in 7, like I don't hate the things that are happening in the show. Like I think the sequence of events that plays out does make sense, but it's like. It is very abrupt. It's like, okay, the kids are on the ship. They don't know Jod's in there. Oh, Jod's in there. SM-33's dead. I don't know. Or like SM-33 at first gets everyone else off of the ship, and then they think that they're safe, and then Jod just climbs back on the ship without them knowing, and then SM-33's dead, and then, I don't know, like are dead for a little bit. That dude never dies. I think, but
yeah,
I'm glad.
No, It is. It's just really quick, you know. And I am really glad that SM-33 didn't end up being dead either. That is a, and it's like he's a droid. You know, droids are never really gone. That's easy. It's always easy to fix. But yeah, that was a relief to see him holding his own head and stuff. That's a lot of fun. KB is probably ended up being my favorite character if I'm being straight up. I thought she was wonderful, and you know, I thought that the whole you know, the misleading of her being like dead and stuff was kind of funny to me. Because the ship like very obviously like softly plops somewhere, and then there's like a little puff of smoke, and they go no, and I was like, oh, Fern, don't worry, she's fine.
Yeah, I know. It was like I was really waiting for the if there was an explosion, then I would be like, oh shit, fuck, you know.
Yeah, if there was an explosion, it was like,
to worry. But yeah, it was like, oh no, she's good.
I appreciate.
Like, I don't know. It was kind of, but
and I think it's I'm perfectly okay with Fern reacting the way she does. That's her friend. That's all. Jod's got to know that girl's not dead, you know? And his whole, like, it didn't have to be like this. Yeah. I don't know. It was so funny to me. I'm like, that girl is fine, dude. The ship's set down somewhere. It's all good.
And one of my better landings by SM.
Yeah, that was great.
But yeah, I mean, that was, at least it gave the moment of them, you know, all hugging each other and then rushing.
Oh yeah.
And thinking she was gone. At least that moment's nice. But yeah, it was whenever the ship went down and like just the little puff of smoke and not an
tiny
explosion,
little puff of smoke killed me, bro.
And I was like, okay, so she's good. Yeah.
And I didn't want her to die by any stretch, but I thought it was funny given the way everybody reacts. I was like, oh, she's okay, guys. You haven't watched Star Wars before.
Yep. But a long drop, you know, if you don't see at the very bottom, or you don't see, you know, I mean, Maul got sliced in half and then thrown down a pit, and dude came back. You know, I don't know, anyone who gets thrown down a pit you're kind of fine. Long falls fall damage is turned off in Star Wars, I feel like, but yeah, no, the ship, I hope it didn't. I mean, luckily it had a little soft landing because we said that it should be the kid's ship from here on out. You know, I hope they start taking adventures and man, you know, they're funded. They don't need you know, they have all the money they need. Like
that was a pretty shot too. Like all the credits pouring out and KB sliding on top of it and stuff. I loved that. I loved that. Well, and it's again just like the emphasis on what's important to the kids and to the families and stuff. And, you know, obviously they grew up around the Mint and they grew up around these credits and everything, but like not a single one of them gives a flying fuck about the giant. That's like $1 million fucking dollars. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like the amount of money that just fell out of that ship is like, if you walked into a room full of dollar bills, you know, like it's, you open a briefcase and the gold shining light breaches through. That's what they just that's just what they saw, and they didn't give a flying fuck. You know, they're friends right there, and I love that. That's the quintessential Star Wars stuff right there, and I think that it really gets the spirit of the franchise, and I think that that's important with this finale. I think that's what makes it hit as hard as it does. And maybe smile ear to ear multiple times, man. Like I just had a great fucking time with it.
And the kids being the one to actually like convince their parents, you know, of being like, no, like we have to do something. Like this is we can't just accept what our lives.
We are the only ones who know what's happening. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, and then I don't know all the twists and stuff. Like I thought, you know, like at first Fern just being like, yeah, I'm gonna go grab the gun, create a distraction, and I'm like, oh wow, it's gonna be this. Maybe it is gonna be this easy, and they're just gonna flip the lever, whatever. But then you know, Wim coming in with his dad making the distraction. Wim's dad being like, son, you're talking to a level 7 system, or like, systems
system advisor or whatever.
And it's like, oh, Wim was like,
and Wim looks up at him like, that's my dad. You know, like I loved it. That was one of those moments that made me feel that. And it's again just classic. I don't know, like this is the episode that early on, the first 2 episodes, I was kind of like, it sucks whenever something is so thoroughly influenced by something and is nowhere near as good as it. You know what I'm saying? Like when the first episode was clearly like, we're going for the Goonies, E.T., Amblin sort of vibe. In the first episode, I mean, like, I don't want to say this was as good as E.T. That's fucking outrageous, but it at least felt a little more like that, you know, like, and it felt like it was doing that a little more justice, and I appreciated that like crazy, you know. It looked good. I thought that this was some of the best night sequences have looked in Disney Plus ever, because night sequences on Disney Plus don't look good. They rarely do. Mandalorian has a couple, Andor has some, but most of the stuff that we see set at night is rough. And this didn't. This hit. I thought that it was lit really well. It wasn't gray sludge. There was actually definable. It was a definable environment. Like I really, and you know, that's going for bare minimum here, but I really appreciated that.
Yeah. No, it was even I think the only time I noticed the visual effects being a little wonky was whenever the invasion was started, and then they had their kind of tank ship kind of thing. I don't know, kind of the invasion ships that were going out, and just the smaller ones that were shooting, and then they were chasing the kids on the speeder bikes, and then there was just like one shot of the bigger boat with the pirates on top that just you could just kind of tell it was like either they were on a blue screen or like the compositing wasn't, I don't know, the motion might have been a little weird, but literally I mean, other than that, I was like, oh my god, like this is looking like
it did look
great.
really
like,
good,
yeah,
man. It's and that's why like I really appreciated it, and I love the fact that it's set in suburbia, obviously with the whole 80s Amblin thing it's got going on is really important, but seeing an invasion in Star Wars from the ground is sick. I loved that. I loved the pirates coming down and, you know, people looking out their windows and seeing them invade the streets and stuff. Like it is the closest thing to Star Wars that we have to like if aliens invaded our planet, which is fucking awesome.
Yep.
You know, like I think that's fucking outstanding. It actually it hit like a truck for me. I thought that was a lot of fun. It was it's a great deal of fun.
Crazy that it took this long. I don't know, to kind of, well, I guess we had like the invasion of Naboo, you know, but I mean that was like the start of a galactic war instead of,
that's like we've had invasions, you know, like invasions aren't new. I think what makes this feel so different is the fact that it's set in suburbia. Like it is like it's an approximation of our world. Where Star Wars is taking place, and we've literally never had that, you know.
Yep.
And I think that's fun. And that's obviously the word I keep coming back to. It's just a ton of fun. Because we had the invasion of Naboo, we had the invasion of like Jakku at the beginning of The Force Awakens and everything. Like we've had invasions. But I don't know. This was just it was rough around the edges. It wasn't neat either. It wasn't military. It was the pirates.
Yep.
And they, you know, so like there is a different level there too, where they're going just kind of all over the place. It's nice.
Were you ever thinking that like Jod might have been playing the kids a little bit, and in the back of my head, I was like, maybe he's gonna like turn the barrier back on whenever the pirate ship's coming through, or like kill them all. I don't know. Like I was maybe not on the kid side, but I was still thinking like something might have been cooking, like a plan. I don't know, but I guess it never did come to fruition. But I guess I still had that kind of one little hope that like Jod would realize, you know, that like, oh shit, you know, maybe I did fuck up here, or like this isn't good, but.
And that's what I appreciate is that they don't give him such a clean cut in a show that feels like it would have such a clean cut. Like, oh, you know what? I was wrong. I didn't. I appreciate that he has the opportunity to leave. Wim gives him a chance. He's still the kid who believes in him. You know, he's like, you can, you know, you can still make it out of this. You can still be okay, and he still probably will be, you know. But they do leave it open enough where you can draw your own conclusions. And he decides to live with his consequences, you know. Like he made the choice, he did what he did, and now he's going to pay the price. And there's a little redemption in that in and of itself, that he doesn't try to escape justice, he doesn't try to make it out. He's just kind of like, this is what I've earned, I made the choices and I ended up here. And I think I think that's about as much redemption as he is good to earn in this season of television. If they would have gone the full yard, I'd have been like, you were holding a girl at knife point like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Like that's...
Yeah.
I mean, literally this episode, you held a lightsaber at a kid's throat. Like, I don't know. Like, there is a lot going on where you're like, like I said, he's not evil, but he hasn't earned the whole, like, you know what, you guys made me realize,
Yeah.
I've done wrong, and we should take out the pirates together. Like, that would have been ridiculous.
Because I mean, to Jod, like, this planet, like, he's got to hate at Aden. Like he's got, like, all of you.
Oh, it's
are,
everything.
Like,
it's
fed.
everything.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like, really, like, I had to live that, like, out in the real galaxy, and there's this, while I'm, I don't know. But now that it is open, I feel like this is kind of like a Tiamat, in the MCU being inside the Earth the whole time. This is kind of like a thing that I feel like they have to address eventually in the greater, in somewhere else. I don't know, like, just this amount of money, being like, the inflation just went fucking nuts. I don't know, like, or just like this influx of money, or maybe this isn't on the grand scheme of things in the whole galaxy. Maybe this money just runs dry super fast. But, like, I don't know. I feel like this has to be.
Well, that's why I'm like, the New Republic is almost certainly going to use it. I don't think the mints are going to shut down.
Which
just
could,
politically, it'd be
yeah. Like,
government-wise, it'd be moronic to be like, well, we just gained access to a whole mint. Let's shut it down.
It's like, dang, we're gonna come in here and actually tell these people, go back to the way your lives were, keep making us money, and I don't like. It is kind of this weird, like, yeah, a mint would be nice, but they didn't have it before at all, and they were, I guess, I don't know. It's this weird kind of, like, you have to get the people of the planet to kind of be accepting of it. I guess if
I don't think that'll be that hard.
You think the people
nobody
want
there
to kind of return? And
nobody there seemed to have a real distaste for the life they were leading. Like, it did seem like everybody was okay with what they were doing. And Jod's tactfulness was completely fucking wrong. If he would have just came in and met with everybody and became the supervisor. In fact, he shouldn't have let his pirate crew come through the fucking barrier at all, the fucking moron.
Yeah,
should have just fucking ruled the planet.
Kept being an emissary and just coming back and just getting more money whenever they needed it. I thought that's what he was going to do. But, I mean, because at least...
Greed. Hubris.
Like, if the barrier didn't go down, I feel like the people on the planet would want... Like, they'd be like, yeah, I don't care. I'll return to work. It's my life. It's whatever. But now that the barrier did go down and everyone's seeing... I feel like that... It's kind of like a small version of what the kids felt. They're like, oh, well, the galaxy's so much bigger. What the fuck are we doing here, actually?
Right.
Like,
well, and that's the thing, though, is that it's still home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think... I think it might open the galaxy up for them, They might go on vacations now, that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But I really don't... I don't think it'll be that far... I think that they will continue to have careers doing this. I think that it will. I think it will be that way for some people, but like the mass population, they won't do shit. I don't think. I think that they'll, I mean, we have the opportunity to go anywhere we want.
Yeah, that's well. Yeah, I guess not. Like
not literally intergalactically
on the
but,
planet. Yeah, I just don't. I feel like there has to be some other connection, but like I don't know. It's a thing. I don't need it for the show to be good. It's just on the larger Star Wars in general. I feel like I'm just trying to think of if this could connect anywhere. But I mean what was I had a train of thought there. Oh dang it. Oh my god. Oh man, it was about, oh my god. It's bugging the crap out of me. It was something. Oh, yes. The supervisor, the droid, it says that the last thing that they got from the Republic, the last message they got was like Order 66 of like, all the Jedi are traitors and blah, blah, blah. So like if that was the last, I guess that's when the Republic falls. So like it just is no longer a thing. But like, So is it truly that the Empire had no, like, Palpatine had nothing to do with this? This is actually only like the Republic that made these planets and everything, and then once the Republic was gone, then no one knew they like that is truly how they were a secret? Like, because it felt at least that there was some darker or some ancient, I don't know, like something going on there with the creation of the planets, but then like you would expect, I guess, Palpatine to kind of take over after, or like, so, you know, if he did know about them or something. It seems that they were truly just left and gone and forgotten completely after Order 66.
That's what I think. And there's a couple ways to take it. The droids are really literal, you know. Last message from the Republic was Order 66, and that Jedi were traitors, and then the Empire rises up, and so like I don't know, maybe the supervisor had received messages from the Empire, you know, maybe that is something he'd done, but like, or that it had done, but I don't know. I don't think that there's much to go on in that regard. It's just kind of, you know, maybe the Empire knew about the place, maybe they didn't, but I think the problem with them being open, you know, because it was pretty important that they were a secret, just in terms of, you know, like where they make the money. It feels, you know, like it feels susceptible to this sort of thing. I think it will be a problem for when the First Order comes to rise, you know, like I think that the First Order's infiltration of the New Republic, once they're like, oh yeah, and we have 9 brand new intergalactic mints, you know, like it's going to be like, okay, cool. Well, we are going to skim off the top.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that they've just found a way to fund the insurgency, you know, and that's not good.
Yeah. Makes the Aldani heist look like I don't know, robbing a gas station now. Like,
right.
Like it's like this is, I mean, they had thousands more of those, or a thousand.
I mean, and
something.
Imperial, the Empire had its own currency too. So like maybe they just didn't give a flying fuck about. Maybe the Empire's goal was to. I mean, that's part of fascist, like reigning in a fascist society, is that you go, fuck what you knew before, this is what you know now, you know. So like maybe dataries really just went extinct. Like it was like, fuck those, you don't need those anymore. Your money's no good here type shit, you know, like you need Imperial credits, and that's the only way you can do anything, because we control commerce, we control the railways, all that good stuff.
Am I wrong in I don't know why I feel like the Empire's logo is like on the credits, like themselves. I don't, or is it I
the Republic and Imperial logos are not far off from each other.
Let's see. Yeah, maybe it is
purposefully so.
I see. Yeah, just one. Oh, okay. Yeah, now looking at it.
Yeah,
Okay,
they are very similar. That's why, like, I've thought that for a long time too. They just, I think it's just kind of the mirror thing. They adjusted it, but didn't adjust it too much, so it gives people the impression that not much has changed, but things have changed, and you know, all that good stuff. But
like the Illuminati pyramid on our dollar bills.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, at least, you know, the Takaran, you know, some mysteries were kind of left in the air, which I think is cool. But I would really love a season 2. But what I've just been hearing is that like the numbers are even lower for this show, and like if money is all they care about, you know, and like I don't know, like is it even possible that this show gets a season 2?
I mean, shit, man, I don't know. I don't have any way of knowing at all what Disney wants to do with Lucasfilm properties at this point, man. Like it's
just so like it's sad, because this is like this is so like, I don't know, this is a cool sect of the galaxy where we kind of have a Jedi, I guess, a little bit, but like there's, I don't know, but even the Force sensitive that we have, it's like, no, you don't need anybody. I don't know, this is just pirates and the Republic, and I don't like I love these stories so much more whenever it's not it's purely just the Force and everything like that. But this, I feel like business wise, they're just, I don't know, like it's just, that's all they care about.
I mean, and we've talked about this, I think, pretty much every single episode.
Yeah.
Like the business model's moronic. I don't understand it at all. You're dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into things that will get you subscriptions, which will probably already exist, and I don't know. doesn't make sense to me. But I have more faith that this will get a season 2 than the Acolyte. Just because, I mean, granted, I haven't been on Twitter, so I am in my own echo chamber and stuff. I'm sure Twitter had plenty of negative shit to say about Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's
but
true.
I haven't heard any of it. Every bit of negativity I've heard about Skeleton Crew is actually nuanced takes on why it's not a great TV show. Not it's led by a black kid, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a woman, or there's a little girl. She's doing things. How can she do things? She's a little girl. You know, that's the kind of shit that you'd see on Twitter. Whereas I don't know. It's so granted, I haven't been subjected to all that bullshit the way I was with the Acolyte. And so I don't know what the general reception of this show has been. For me, it's been overwhelmingly positive. The people who have watched it have been incredibly loving of it. This is being regarded as generally as top 2 with Andor.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I think that's it sticks the landing. I think this is a top 2 finale with Andor.
Yeah. Is it better than Mando season 1? You know what? That's like Andor. No, that's I don't know. I'm very comfortable.
Yeah. Well, Mando season 1, you know, we get the unmasking of Pedro Pascal for the first time and stuff, and you know, IG-88's sacrifice and Moff Gideon with the Darksaber and all that stuff. I would say it's better than Mando season 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
The finale is.
Wow. Oh, finale. Okay. Overall, like, because putting this.
I would say I would say it's top 3 or 4 seasons of Star Wars for me. I just think, and I would need to rewatch it beginning to end, like blitz it, because I genuinely think for the first time watching a show that it would be like a Star Wars show, it would genuinely be a lot better that way. I think that with how quick it did play, it would play a lot better if you watched it quick, you know? At least for me. I think the week-to-week thing kind of took away from the momentum, maybe. And I had to, you know, like we had to stop and pause and wait a week for the next thing. And I wouldn't want it any other way. I don't like it dumping a whole series on a platform or anything, but I do think it would play better that way, and I look forward to binging it because I will, and that, you know, that speaks volumes about it too. There are shows that even Star Wars Disney Plus has put out that I don't like enough to binge. I can't watch it like that, you know. I can't take I have to take my time, and you know, I've tried to binge it and I've been like, you know what, I'm not gonna keep watching this. And that's rough, you know. Like it's strange because I would love a season 2, and I think we will. I think the placement in the timeline gives it a little bit more credence to get a season 2 also. It's set around this Mandalorian, you know, the post Return of the Jedi timeline. None of those shows have been outwardly canceled yet. You know, the Book of Boba Fett. Well, and I guess none of them have been canceled, technically. They just didn't get renewed.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's tough to say. But, you know, the Book of Boba Fett definitely could have had a season 2. Kind of crazy that it didn't.
Yeah, Mando 2.5 really is kind of what that boiled down to be a little bit, sadly.
But yeah, Ahsoka's going to have a season 2. Mando's going to continue. You know, it feels like we're gonna maybe we see it through. I don't know. The show also came to a nice little conclusion. Obviously, there's more that can be explored, but like for this story, it's pretty fulfilling. I like the way it came to a close.
I guess that just dawned on me a little bit. Is, you know, I guess in Ahsoka we're going to a different galaxy, you know, completely and everything. But if there is a way to get back, does Thrawn hear about these mints? And Thrawn is like, you know, I feel like that could be a very interesting. You know, I was thinking Palpatine the whole time of like being the only one to kind of go after him, or like the evil, the evil entity going after it. But I guess I forgot Thrawn is in here now. You know, like we got, he is a player on the board, and I bet he could do some, I don't know, do some cool stuff with these.
He'd be the motherfucker I'd be the most scared to have
Yeah.
the mint. You
Yeah.
know, because he knows how to fund. He knows how to allocate funds. You know, bro's got a knack for the business. I don't know. I would be intrigued by that. I would be intrigued by Thrawn coming in and trying to take over one of the mints, or maybe maybe it's an objective of his to take over all the mints, and then all of a sudden we've got Ezra and Hera and Sabine and Ahsoka all going after Thrawn, and they run into the skeleton crew, all that good stuff. Yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I'm down for whatever. Whatever they want to do with this, I look forward to it. I want more pirate stuff. I liked the pirate stuff. I appreciate that this wasn't all pirate stuff, because I think the kids are the beating heart of the show, and if you spend more time with the pirates than you do them, it's not a great choice. But I would love a pirate focused thing, like that is about the pirates. You know.
Yeah, the pirate.
I think
code
that would be a lot of fun.
Was awesome in here the whole time. I guess SM33, gave a little, whatever, good enough for me for a little bit there. But it was, I don't know, all their little dealings and just the grab for power, the classic kind of crime storylines with them. I think and it just works so well in the Star Wars universe. I don't know. I think it just makes sense. And
all right, so let me ask you. We just did a whole season of television that had a bunch of pirates in the motherfucker.
Yup.
All that good stuff. Hondo Ohnaka's dead, right?
Oh my God. Wait a minute. Yeah, what the fuck? Wait a minute. What if he were to show up? I mean, come on.
It would have been here. It'd have been here. Yeah, that's
like,
why I'm like, I don't know. And like, I'm not like, this show is the worst. It didn't have Hondo Ohnaka in it. But like, no, I mean, like, come on, dude. Where's my boy Hondo? I want Hondo.
He's really just a solo dolo kind of guy. He no crew. He's just
he longs for a crew though. He wants a crew.
Yeah.
But he also wants his crew to not be like scum of the earth. Like so like these guys run a little rough. Maybe even for Hondo standards.
Yeah, this is AAA ball for Hondo. I don't know. I feel well. I don't know. This is kind of the biggest loot of all time, so I feel like this is kind of the most Major League Pirate score of all time. But like we literally shanties written about at Atten. But no, yeah, man. I guess I didn't even. Come on. No, I'm flipping.
Where's my boy?
Yeah, no, I hate Skeleton Crew. No,
where the fuck is Hondo Ohnaka? Yeah, no, but no, I fuck it, man. Whatever.
I don't know. One thing I was delighted to see was the good old prototype. I think it's a B-wing, maybe is what it was called.
The Blade Wings.
Yeah. Oh my
yes!
God. Well, hey, I mean, maybe it was Hera flying one of those. I mean,
she could have been.
She was the one who brought him in. I guess we didn't see who was piloting those. There was only two of them. But
God, the Blade Wings got me so hyped when they showed up on screen. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a fucking blade. Then it did the little, and I was like, it's a fucking Blade Wing.
Yep.
Those things rule. We had the prototype from the only time it had been on screen was the prototypes in that one episode of Rebels that Hera completely destroys Imperial ships, which is sick.
Oh my God, two of my like just super small characters, Kim and then whoever was that pilot dude. I feel like they'd be a power couple. Oh my God, I need Kim and that little I don't know what his name was. Whoever
the
made
the guy who made the ships.
I feel like he was he kind of an animal, or was he just kind of a small human?
He was a oh, what's that species?
Oh my God!
The one that's like adjacent to like Admiral Akbar. I think it might have been one of his species.
Like
the Mon Calamari.
Yeah,
was he a Mon Calamari?
I'm looking at the episode wiki right now to see if he's coming up in here.
He oughta.
Corey, was that his name? Corey, is that right?
He was a Quarren.
Quarry. Yes. Okay, this is him, and he is Mon Calamari. Okay, yeah,
there
just
we go.
A little short, for I guess I don't know. I always kind of just thought they were.
Yeah, he's a little guy. He's a little guy.
All right.
He's not. But but yeah, him. I like that. Him and Kim. That's fucking funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Just two little characters that came in that I'm instantly like, oh, I love you. Like I
love this fucker. Yeah.
So and Kim coming in, to save the day a little bit. Calling in the good guys. That was nice. And And I don't know. I at least thought KB. I knew. I guess that when the ship was going down, when the little puff came up, it was kind of funny. But at first, whenever she was going down, I thought that she was like,
yo,
"Oh, I can fix
when it was
anything,"
actually
and-
in the air, it was rough.
Yeah, and
that was. I was like, oh, don't you touch my girl KB. You know, like they did a good job at building the tension, which is why it was so funny when it landed. You know, like like I was genuinely worried when the ship was in free fall. You know, like when it was spinning out and all that stuff, and they were watching, and she's like, you know, her mom comes over the comm, and she's like, you know, are you okay, KB? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay, Mom, and all that stuff. I was like, no, don't touch my girl, KB. And then I see the little, and I was like, oh, okay, she's fine.
Yeah. And then when Jod said, like, there's no way she'll survive, or like, there's no way, it's like, oh, well, okay. Well, yeah, now she's obviously alive. Like, of course, you said that. But I thought at first.
It didn't have to be like this!
Yeah, like, I thought that she was going to upload her, like, consciousness into SM33. Like, I thought that she was thinking she was going to go, and then she was going to, like, I thought that was, like, what she was trying to do at the end instead of fix the ship. But, like, I don't know, that's what. It was a lot of running through my mind initially, and then Jod was like, there's no way she'll ever die, or like no way she'll make it through that. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, she's probably alive. And then the little puff, and I'm like, oh, okay,
like, oh,
yep,
yeah.
she's good. And I guess it
It
didn't,
fucking killed me.
it
Man.
didn't look like it landed in that building. It looked like she landed in the woods. Initially,
It landed
I
on a
guess,
building
but-
on the other side of the building that we're looking at. They make it purposefully, you know, like They shroud where it lands pretty well. But I don't know. I thought it was funny. I don't have any beef with it. I just thought that was a funny part of the episode. Whenever I was like, because it was the high and then the low and then they're like, oh, like everyone thinks she's dead. Because I was genuinely so fucking concerned, and then it was like. And I was like, oh, she's fine. And then Fern screams, and Jod's like, it didn't have to be like this. And I was like, oh, dude, this is hilarious.
Yeah, it
but
didn't have to go down this way. I didn't want to hurt
Yeah.
anybody.
I didn't want to hurt anybody. I was like, you haven't.
You started an invasion on a planet, though. If you didn't want to hurt anybody, take your ship, take your money, and go, dog. I mean,
yeah, no
like,
shit.
I mean, maybe he had to prove, you know, to everybody that Adadin is real, and like, you know, if he just came up, well, I don't know, if he came up with a fucking shipload of gold, like just a shit, like literally the most credits that anyone has ever seen in their life, I think they'd be like, no, you're not playing anymore. Like
That's the thing, is that he wanted to implement his version of martial law. You know, like the pirates were going to run the streets, and they were going to work for they were all going to work for him, and all that stuff. So like he had bad intentions. You know, it wasn't a good thing, but can't have your cake and eat it too. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so weird to think that like. They're, you know, Jod's coming in and just taking the role of the supervisor and enslaving them, but like they would just be doing the same thing that they were doing before, but just not with the freedom. I get, you know, of just they're I guess they're what they thought they had their freedom, but it's like really their lives wouldn't be changing at all.
No,
And-
they would just they would be subservient to a guy who wants to take advantage of them rather than try to. I don't know, you know, because like, would he, because he's so greedy, would they still get the same pay? You know, like Wim carried dataries around in his fucking shoe. You know, like that was his allowance. He got like, it was like, here's $500, kid, go crazy. You know,
That's true.
You
Yeah,
know,
they would
like
probably-
is that something that they no longer have access to, and you know, all that good stuff. So I imagine it would be. I imagine that, you know, the whole like you would have to live your lives just the same probably isn't 100% true. It's a little naive on his part.
Yeah, and it's
But
from that point on, everything's just a little different. That's why I'm wondering if this is like kind of just how it went down on the other planets, you know, like in just when the one secret got out, you know, it just takes one person and then it's just over. Like there's no way you can return without like the illusion being kept. And I guess like Fern's mom felt like she did know of the outside world, a little bit, you know, it's like it felt like she did understand that the galaxy wasn't a good place, or like that
Yeah,
there was more.
there's a line I think Wim's dad says that he says like you weren't supposed to know about any of this until you graduated. You know, like kind of like you weren't supposed to know that I think they know exactly what they're doing. They know why it's a secret. They know, like, I don't think it's a mystery to the people of Ad-Atten that they work at a refinery. I think that they were just so well shielded that they don't know about a lot of stuff going on outside of it, you know?
Yeah.
I think they are 100% like, yeah, we make the credits that make the Republic work, you know? Like, I think that they feel very important, and I think that they should feel really important, you know? Like, that's not an easy job, and not one that, you know, should be taken lightly. Like, if you are in charge of the funds of the galaxy, you know, I don't think that, you know, a lot of shit should be kept, you know, tight, close to the chest, freedom of information and all that. But a place like this, you know, there are worse things than being kept a secret from the galaxy.
That one's fair enough. Yeah, that one is...
Yeah, and specifically kind of the revelation that they all know what they were doing there. They seem to know they're ruled by a droid. They don't have any real questions about what they are doing. Like, obviously, you know, there's something to the idea that's like they should be given the freedom to, you know, go off and do whatever they want, and they can always do this if they would like to. They're like raised to do this, which is, you know, morally, but
'cause...
yeah, like it. All things considered, given the revelations we come to by the end of this, they weren't in the worst situation ever, you know.
The only part that like is weird is that there hasn't been an emissary or any time that anyone's picked up any money for like this. Like Jod was the first dude to like come down in a long time, right? Like this, that like
it seemed like it.
So that's like
probably since the Republic.
Yeah, maybe. I guess. Like, if you know that you're making money for the galaxy, but the galaxy is not using any of it, is it like that they kind of flipped and they're like, oh, well, we know what's going on. We'll actually just keep our good thing going, you know, and like, why ruin our planet, you know, sort of thing. But it's just that if they have this purpose to make the money and like it and feels so important, but then it is all just for them, and that it's not going anywhere. They're not talking to anybody else. They can't talk to anybody else. It's like that's the only part that's like weird to me, is like that.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, the situation's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It's definitely, and I think that they do a lot with Fern and or Farah and Wim's dad. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, to show that they're okay being sheep. You know, like they're cool with the life they're leading, so they don't try to do anything about it. Which a lot of normal people can relate to that, you know, like that sort of like, well, things are going fine for me now, so why should I do anything that might change that? Even though they could be going great, or they could be going, you know, like it's just, they're fine now, so why do anything about it? And I think that they do a good job of showing their like complacency in a way. They're just kind of like, yep, this is life. And the kids are the ones who have to be like, but does it have to be, you know? And I think that is the point, you know? Yeah, all I'm saying is that they at least lead a life given all the information now, where I can get why they would be like, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I side more with the kids, but previously I was kind of like, this seems like it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Why would you just go along with all of this? But knowing that they all know what they're up to and they know what they're doing, and they feel like that, you know, like I guess I get it, you know, I get it more than I did, is more what I'm getting at. Not that I'm like, they're right to feel that way, not necessarily, but
yeah, they're living in a utopia. I mean, pretty like the closest thing in the Star Wars universe we've seen. I guess Pabu still number one. If I'm choosing to live anywhere,
yeah, I still got to live on Pabu.
Yeah, I'm still living on Pabu, and we still don't know if the Empire you know, it seems like they just left and they don't care. They don't know about it anymore, and they're, you know, it's all good. But yeah,
I mean, they live in a pretty great place. You know, it seems like you know, the money is created and it's distributed equally. It seems like everyone's in relatively good health, which does indicate to me that perhaps healthcare isn't hard to come by and not pricey. They all eat well, it seems.
Yep. Seems chill.
Pretty bare necessities.
But
let's just say it. At socialist. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I don't think they're really competing for much out there.
No.
I think they figured it out. Or it's just they were
housing's regulated.
Yeah. True.
Housing's regulated. There's nothing that stands out. Like that's why I'm like yeah. I don't know. It seems like it could. They all have somewhere to live. Seems all right with me.
Very interesting. Weird how utopias seem to mimic that.
Everybody's content except for the kids who are just a little bored. So like I don't know.
Wow. Very
I don't know, draw.
Weird. But no, I mean I love that that's where we're going in Star Wars. And like I feel like this is a perfect entry for kids like into the universe. They spell it out like the real good guys. Like I feel like they just put it in such simple terms for kids that it's very easy to grasp, but at the same time with me being 24, almost 25, like I'm still enjoying the fuck out of this. Like this is exactly what I want. I want like I don't know to show these ideals. Like I don't know. I think it's the point of Star Wars.
It's great, man, and I think that's great too. That like you said, it's an entry level, and then there's always the nuance you discover later on. Like we watched the Star Wars original trilogy, and we're like, yeah, Rebels, woo, they're the best. And then we get stuff like Rogue One and Andor, which gives you a little bit more context into the shit that Rebels got to do. I still think they're obviously still the good guys, but they got to do a little more shit than you expect. It's not all just let's go blow up planet-killing space stations. No, like there's assassination plots and spying and all this good stuff that destroys people.
What do I have to sacrifice?
Everything.
I don't know. Andor will forever. I don't know. Just kind of have its place there, and like that's what truly got me to think of Star Wars differently. I think Rogue One did a good job, and to kind of reshape and refocus kind of the fight, but like everyone's little like Nemec and just like everyone having their own rebellion and just like perfect here. Like Wim and Fern, like all of the kids, like they have their own fight now. Like, and it's clear that. At least, like, there's no way the kids are gonna be like, okay, you know what? I actually am homesick. I do want to stay home and whatever. I think it's at least women for like. I feel like Neil might be the only one that's like, you know what? I think I will stay home.
I've had my fill. I've had my fill. I had a good time. That's enough for me. He's gonna be the one in American Graffiti who ended up staying home and becoming an insurance agent.
Yeah. Yes, he's chill. Bro was taking a bubble bath, when he got back. Bro was in the bath whenever the invasion was going down,
Yeah, he was like, bro, fuck this. I gotta relax.
Which I think
I didn't even think of that. That's so fucking
bro
funny.
Was like,
he immediately got the bubbles out. He was like, "It's time, bro. I gotta cleanse."
Yeah.
Fair. It's actually kind of surprising that nobody else immediately bathed.
Yeah. Well, Fern, I guess she never did get to go home. Jod took her to meet the supervisor.
That's true.
Wim, and then he's just like, "Oh, well, we gotta."
Wim's
Fern.
too preoccupied.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, we gotta do everything." So, and then I guess KB. Let's see. Did she go home? No. Did she get home? I don't.
Yeah, she gets home, but then her and Neil pop up together.
Yeah,
and they show up at Wim's place, and
but love that.
Yeah, no, dude, I loved it, man. It was a great time, and I think that Skeleton Crew really, really stuck the landing. I can't wait to rewatch it. From beginning to end, I will probably try to do it in one sitting. I probably won't. Because I think it would be easy to. Because every episode was like 30 minutes, and there's 7 of them. So like, fuck it.
Yeah, it's not too bad of an endeavor. Because I did kind of complain a little bit, like some of the episodes felt a little short on runtime, but now. I don't know of the
That's
great.
because I think it's designed for a binge. I don't think it like it's. I think it is. I think it was made with the idea that you were going to spend 4 hours watching this shit. You know, like and that's that. At least that's how it feels to
wow.
me. I guess I'll have to see. But
I guess it says 5 hours 19 minutes if this is right. So, but this is. I think that they just. This might have been before the show came out, and approximating each episode to be 48 minutes each. So yeah, that's a little.
that's way too long.
That's a
way
little
too long.
So,
And also, even if it was, what would you say? 5 hours 19 minutes.
yeah.
You can subtract like 35 of that, or correction, 49 of it because of credits. Like they do
true.
7 minutes of credits every single episode. So. Dude, the credits. Last thing we'll touch on here. The credits were sick. Did you watch them?
No, I guess I didn't. I don't know what did
They did the cool.
yeah.
They did it like it was in the art style that Wim was looking at the adventure on his holopad or on his
okay.
little data pad,
Okay. Yeah,
and then it zoomed out at the end whenever it said Skeleton Crew, and it was literally on the data pad, and that was it. It was cool. I liked it a lot.
That's cool. Oh my god.
Yeah,
like
it was
kids,
cute. It was
kids
very
are gonna
cute.
tell this story everywhere, and Wim was
yeah.
the failing student in school.
They
but
had
now
their
every kid-
adventure. Yeah.
Okay. They're
Yeah.
they're by
It's the good
far the
shit.
most popular kids on the planet now.
Oh yeah, they're
man, it's like-
eating. They're famous now. But yeah, I think with that we'll be able to conclude this episode of Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. We will be back soon with our continuation of our Rebels rewatch. Everybody, at least that's the plan. Maybe we give ourselves a week or two, kind of get our feet back under us and everything. Joe's got to go back to school. We're still doing a lot of stuff on the Sentimentalist, so maybe we try to reassess a little bit, see where we're going. But the next thing, as far as we know for sure, should be Rebel Season 3. We will be doing a brief Andor rewatch. Like, we're not even like week to week. Like, I'm talking we're going to watch the first 6 episodes, and then we are going to watch the last 6 episodes, and then we are going to watch Season 2 live as it airs. And, you know, maybe we play, you know, we'll discuss more what we want to do going forward when it comes to Andor, or when it comes to Rebels and all that good stuff. But, yeah, so we will be getting around to those things. Andor for certain, Rebels likely. So yeah, that's what we've got on the horizon. The Sentimentalist is going strong. This Friday we continue our top 100 films of the 2020s with parts 5 and 6. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's a 10-part series, 10 per episode. This week's the 50s and 40s. You got to check it out. But yeah, with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, for light and life.